Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm definitely here for this conversation. This is a very interesting one. Google, I don't know you. I could have sworn I've seen you. I don't know where, but I know I've seen you from. Give me time. I'm gonna put it together, and I'm listening. So this is a very interesting one, if ever there was one that I can ask for. I did. I asked for. This is like literally going into a three-part diatribe. I think it came from the first one. I had to put it on private with the Kumos. Then after it went over to the because the black men need protection, and I got to talk about that. I had to talk about that after. Shout out to TPOT, the Prophet of Thought, and also all the guys that came out there. That like that right there was a synapses in itself. That was a whole synapses in itself. The stuff I heard black men were saying, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. Sometimes you could just smell the euphoric talking points. And as I listened to what men had to say, mind you, there was no women. It was just all men. And yet we hear a lot of talk about gender and masculinity and the community and all that other stuff. I love my favorite talking point, and I gotta give a special shout out to Trey NBD. I had to give a special shout out to him. He says, "This is how a lot of them sound. Like a lot of these dudes that jump on the panel sometimes, they get on and they say, 'I'm not a black man. I'm an American. I don't want no damn bean pie. I want an American pie. God damn it!' And I will listen to a lot of these characters of these guys as they start talking. I listen to a lot of them. It's very, very entertaining because as you listen to them talk, the rhetoric of what they say is hilarious. It's hilarious. You would have to start asking yourself, what goes on to the mentality? You know what? Let me get on my computer. Let me get on my computer. I would be doing a disservice if I literally was not actually at my computer desk. Because as I sat there and I listened, as I sat there and I listened to a lot of these men talk about how black men and single mothers and all that shit, and I'm like, why? Well, hold on now. Why y'all coming around black men? Y'all Americans. Take your ass over there to Becky's and Cameron's and Shu Young and whatever the hell goddamn people y'all rock with. Why y'all coming around black men telling us y'all play? I never understood that. I never understood these black men that literally don't don't want to deal with the black experience, but they keep coming around to talk about their black experience, almost as if we're supposed to give a shit. I those kind of guys I second I question because a lot of their talking points are around the black community, but they don't know how to they don't know how to be treated, or they don't know if they want to be in. Like they just they want to know their diatribe of where they fit in. And it's very interesting because you hear these dudes, they're most of their talking points are about black people and you know the black community and Democrats and all that stuff. And I watch a lot of these goofy motherfuckers when they start saying, the best greatest thing I ever did was, and I'll be like, oh, here we go, here we go. Like, let me hear this conversation. Like after a while, like it's not wrong to have different people outside of your diatribe. And I understand there's different. types of social economical issues that go on. But the fact that I kept on hearing certain talking points from the men, that they were more key components of other groups rather than their own group, I started to wonder, hey, what's going on, Miss Jim? I really started to wonder, was this literally the best of what black men want to be like? Because you have to start asking the question, like what's going on that black men are having this much of an identity crisis, or these particular type of black men? You see, I have to ask the question, what's going on that these type of black men are having this type of identity crisis? See, I side eye them. I side eye them when they talk about it. You know what I'm saying? See, a pro black has no problem saying that they're black. Red pill. You talking about a pro black? A pro black has no problem saying that they're black. That makes no sense. Next time, make sure when you ask a question, y'all cash at me. Y'all want to ask me questions because I have to start asking the question about these kind of things, right? Let me make sure I get this squared away. Hang on, let me get it squared away for y'all. There we go. All right. There we go. I definitely want to do this conversation because I'm trying to figure out the mentality behind the madness. You know, what is the mentality behind the madness? I saw where more black men were more in component or proponent of other groups having their doggone their rights of their shit blown up, but they were in defiance of their own people having their own shit. But then I always ask the question, then why is all your talking points predominantly based on black people? If it's not, and the most you ever will say toward a white person is they must be a liberal. They have to be a liberal. They have to be a Democrat. You see, I'm understanding that a lot of these black men can't hack it as black men. They can't hack it amongst their own. So it's better to be the bottom feeders of other men. They feel like they'll be more accepted. And it is for what it is. You know, I listened to their diatribe of the depression of their talking points when they were picked on, teased, different other shit. And I mean, I get it. It's happened. It's happened. I was that guy that played, card games and looked at anime and shit. And no matter what we talked about that was positive, they kept going back into a negative stoop. No matter what we talked about, they kept going back into a negative stoop about black people. Like they could never see anything good about black people. And after a while, I start to wonder, what is the intention of these type of people? What is the intention of these type of men? So you can, if your men have a self-defeated attitude, what does that mean for you? If your men have a self-defeated attitude, see, they will easily say that you're playing a victim. I'm not a black man. I'm an American. The fuck?
Dude, when I was in the military, dude, I said, listen, I'm a black man. I had no problem letting them know I'm a black man. I'm a black soldier. I'm in the American Army. Just like when the Hispanic ones had no problem having their doggone flags when they was in the service. Hmm? The Filipino soldiers, yeah, Jamaicans. But see, I know that you got this self-defeated man that creeps around. They like conversing with the black men, but they hate being black men. But they want to be included with black men. What's going on, Mike V? And that's very interesting because under no circumstances, shout out to my brother Mike B and the Progressive Brother podcast. You see, it's a lot of y'all talking points are starting to reveal a lot about yourselves, man. A lot of y'all starting to reveal y'all talking points are starting to seep out of your pores of who y'all really are or how y'all really think. And that's why I said like I gotta really start being more cautious about what talking points or what conversations I have around y'all. Under no circumstances did me or Charles or Mike B or any of us who are in our field of expertise ever have to downplay us being black men. I might be wrong about that, but I can open up the panel. But a lot of y'all who say that goofy shit, I'm not a black man, I'm an American. Y'all sound goofy as fuck to us. To other men, y'all sound cowardice, weak. I can pull out, I can pull out shows or videos of Irishmen bragging about being proud Irish in America. But God forbid a black man says, I'm a proud black man in America. James Brown said, I'm living in America. But you have it where these dudes are so weak and hurt that they come around black men to converse with black men. But every bitter conversation, no offense, but y'all sound like the women that have vitriol against black people that we deal with that I've listened to. And you have to start wondering if these are the men, then how do you expect the women are going to be? If these are the men that have this type of vitriol, I'm not a black man. Well, I'm very preposterous. I'm very mind struck and blown. When you hear black men have more problems, and I saw a bunch of that goddamn trailer trash Americans in that goddamn chat getting hyped up and horny, listening to their doggone rhetoric. Y'all all look like clowns. Y'all did. A lot of y'all look like clowns to me. Y'all can hear. This is my rebuttal. A lot of y'all look like clowns to me. But the majority of y'all talking points are about black people. No, I'm actually, I know what I am. I'm not confusing. Shout out to the $5. You're confusing ethnicity with race. How? Let's go ahead and do this. No. I'll do this for you. I'm gonna help you. The fact of state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition interrelationship between gender, ethnicity, and class. Okay. I'm not a black man, which I'm talking about my race. I'm an American. But if you put down Black American, Asian American, white American, Latino American, when you look at the boxes, okay, they have no problem saying who they are. I know I'm a black man. I served my country proudly. I have my own businesses, my own stuff. If you look behind me, there's a flag of my culture, of my history, of my background. I've already put my time in. I've already put my time in on the sand. I've already did my deployments. I've already done my service to my country. What's up, SKC? I know what the difference between ethnicity and race is. I do know what that is. Believe it or not, I actually went to criminal justice and law school. See, when I talk about certain stuff, right? Understand, when I talk about certain stuff, do I bang against certain groups when they want to have proper representation? No. Okay. I'm Gullah Geechee. Okay. Do I ask for any of y'all representation of me? I've already served my time in this country. I've already humped the deserts. I've already put in my time. I can go walk into the VAs all around the whole country, man. But when I talk about standard for my black excellence, of what I want to be viewed as for me, that's for me. I don't tell the Hispanics in their community is, I think, 15 miles that way. Because you got to understand, I'm not a black man, I'm an American. That's a stupid retort. That's a dumbass reply. You are a black man. And you also are an American. You were born black, but you're also an American. You're a black American. You're going to put down other? But see, what happens is you're getting these stupid motherfuckers that are, I don't know, in like breeding. They're existing now. Because no matter what, when you look at a book or a transcript, guess what? They're going to pull up when you're looking in the medical paperwork. Guess what? When you get shot or go to the hospital or any kind of medical thing, they're going to say, what is the race or ethnicity of the person? Or they're going to ask, hey, is it American? Oh, they're going to ask you, what is it? Is he an Hispanic? Is he a white person? Is he an Hispanic? Is he a Latin person? Is he a black person? What is he? Then I'm going to ask if he's Jamaican, Haitian, Samoan. They want to know, what is he? Now, I don't get what's this problem, because we have this thing about when certain groups have no problem. Now, you got to understand, me as a black man, I'm a black American. You can never take that from me, nor did I ever plan to. And thank you for the super chat, old man Carrito. I am definitely willing to have the conversation. When I drop the link, I can have the conversation with you. I think I did already. But under no circumstances will you ever, or should you ever, be afraid to say, hey, this is who I am. I don't have a problem with a white man saying, hey, I'm a white American, because that's what he is. I don't have a problem with a Latin person saying, I'm a Latin American. That's what you are. All this other shit, well, I'm just an American. That's fine when I'm outside of the country. When I'm out there hoofing it in the sands, yeah, I am an American. They know I'm from the Americas. They know I'm a U.S. American. Newsflash, I know that because the patch was on my shoulder. However, when I come back here, there is a clear distinction of what I am and what you are. We understand that. The problem is people want it to be Afro-Latinos are a prime example of African descendants living in Latin America who would typically speak Spanish, etc. Like I said, I'm never going to tell somebody what they are. My niece, she's Pacific Islander, and she's also black. She's Geechee. She's also Creole Negro. So when it comes to that of my niece, shout out to Jaden. She's her mother is Guam, and her father is a black man. Now she could put down other, which she has done a few times, and sometimes she has claimed Asian, and sometimes she has claimed her black side. But and she knows she's American. But under no circumstance does she have to say, hey, I'm just American, because she's going to be like, no, I'm not dropping my cultural background. I'm not dropping who I am. Now, is America a culture? Yes. And there are cultures within cultures inside of America. I get tired of people telling me that whenever I say I'm a black man in America, and then I hear the retort, I'm not a black man, I'm an American. No shit. But for a while, black men were not included to be called Americans. Hell, in certain things or certain premises, and y'all like to play that game. Well, black men, why don't y'all participate in American society? Well, hold up, bro. Who says we're not participating? We very much do participate. Shout out to DC when he put out the John Herringism. Different men are still participating and busting their butt. Much respect to Art and Style. Bam! You can't. There's no way you can go up to any man, and ask him, "Well, what are you?" If you were to ask any man in this country, "What are you?" You're not gonna hear them say, "Well, I'm just an American." No, they're going to tell you what they are. I'm a Korean American. I'm a Japanese American. They're going to let you know who they are. Y'all stop playing these intellectual delegated games of what we are. What's up, Kelly? How you doing, Kelly? When I hear people say that stuff, I look at you sideways. Like, what's your agenda? Why are you so much for me dropping who I am of my background? I agree, Art. It is fear. They're afraid to say who they are because they're afraid of making other people uncomfortable about who they are. Now, hang on. What's going on, Roguish Son? Hang on, let me go grab this. Shout out to Roguish Son. A very solid brother. Hang on, let me pull up this. Let me show this right here. I'm gonna put something out there. Something out there. Now, I'm gonna show you something, right? And I want y'all to see this real quick. Now, this is a Scottish police memorial funeral. Now, that's crazy because they're Americans. But why would they emphasize a Scottish and Irish police funeral? I thought they were just Americans. But however, in certain parts of the country, like New York, they'll have it where they're playing the bagpipes, walking around having the kilts, all that good stuff, but they're American, but they sure don't mind banging their culture. But oh, Seamus McMahon of the McMahons, he has to make sure he gets his accustomed funeral. You see, they got their whole bagpipes and everything going, playing their Saint McMary, Holy Art, and now bringing home to Jesus moment and shit. This is a Scottish police memorial. So the Scottishmen that die in the service of the country, nobody shames them about their declaration of saying, "I'm a Scottishman. I'm an American." Look at that. Look at that proud woman. Look at them proud men. They're so proud of who they are. But God forgive. Oh, man. God forgive. Let there be a black man that want to say, "I'm a black policeman." Shit. You're not a black policeman. You're just a policeman. Shut up, Charles. No, I'm a black policeman. I'm a black officer. One of my friends is a Japanese is a Japanese officer for the FBI. He handles a lot of international stuff out there. I think that's pretty badass. You know why they definitely needed him? Because he can speak 3 different languages. He can speak Japanese. He knows Mandarin. He can speak English. If he didn't want to work there, he can go work in the UN. Me and him we're real tight. Anytime he want to go to the mats and go throw down, hey, me and him used to always throw down. Along with my Samoan friend. We used to have them MMA boys used to like coming out there and trying to throw hands with us. I used to beat the shit out of them. But nobody ever shamed Mataru whenever he would come to the mat. And before he would come on the mat, he would take off his shoes and he would do his custom. Nobody would ever shame him about his customs and his culture. My Samoan friend, I dare you to tell him he ain't a Samoan American. He'll say, well, who are you? He said, these tattoos of my valor, what I done, say differently. And he has the right to feel that way. I don't know. Why is there a problem? Me, I want standard. Do you know how many looks I got in Germany for wrestling in Germany before they knew I was good? I don't, and you know the thing about it is, I remember what it was like when I was in Afghanistan. I remember when I was like when I was in Kuwait, when they saw a black man doing wrestling. I know how it feels, Charles, to be that 1 or 2 black men in an all team of white guys. Granted, it felt differently. I don't know how y'all feel. I can't speak for all of y'all, but for me, I definitely knew the pressure. Because I understood what I was there to represent. I was there to represent America, but also I was there to represent a part of Black America. I felt pride when I had that American flag. When I came out there and I had that American flag draped over me. I felt pride when I stepped in that octagon. When I looked at that Israeli and we touched gloves, I was a good soldier. Nobody questioned me. You can't question that. But see, I understood one thing. I knew I was black. I knew my purpose of why I was doing what I was doing. I understood that wherever I go, I want to show that there's black men who are proficient, who are professional, that are proficient in our line of duty. Some of y'all may say, well, you just be an American, BMT. I am an American. Never said I wasn't. But I'm also a Geechee Gullah American. Why can't I be both? Why do I drop one flag? Why do I have to renounce one flag? You don't make the others renounce their flag. Why is it that I, as a black Geechee Gullah, have to renounce my flag? Can anybody tell me that? If you can tell me that, I will cash app you $50. Can you tell me why is it I gotta renounce my culture? You don't make nobody else do that. Why do I have to renounce my culture? I agree. I agree, Rogish. It may not be the nationality, but it's a culture. It's supposed to be up to us and who we are. Why do we like I get it. There are bad portions. Every culture has a bad side. But don't discount the good. Don't discount the good that we contributed. Don't discount the stuff that we done toward American society, to what we built, the science, the medical, the law enforcement, the government side, the entertainment. Are y'all going to discount those? Because those people that were doing that around that time, guess what? They knew, yes, I'm an American and I'm busting my ass just like everybody else to do the American dream. But I'm also a black man with a black woman. Where's my representation? People get mad because they say, I want proper representation. There's nothing wrong with wanting proper representation. I think that's a problem that people get angry at, or they feel fear or anger about. How dare you as a black person want proper representation? And those are the flags y'all want to bang. Bang y'all American flag. I was banging that flag when I was over there overseas. But you know one thing I knew? When it was time for any of them holidays for the Puerto Ricans, guess what? They sure didn't mind dropping that American flag. And Charles knows exactly what I'm saying. They sure didn't mind dropping that American flag and pulling out that doggone Puerto Rican flag. Shout out to you, Rogish. Proud Nigerian. Yes, you have the right to be a proud Nigerian. I've seen, listen, tell that to them Puerto Rican boys whenever we was on deployment and it was time for them doggone them Latin goddamn holidays to show up. Yo, that American flag got taken down quick. Whoop! They put that dog on Puerto Rico. Hey, y'all motherfuckers, pay homage to this motherfucker right here. I'm like, what the fuck? And they dared you to touch their flag. That would have been a fight in the barracks. That would have been a bloody fight. I can show you videos in the chow hall where they had different flags up there and they were banging that shit and they were still American. And ain't nobody shamed them. Saw the Haitian flag up there. Saw the Jamaican flag up there. Boys up there with their flag. Hey! Doing all that. I didn't have a problem. I said, so long as y'all doing y'all job, shit. At the end of the day, America's still using you. They're still using you to get that mission done. So what do y'all want? You don't have to be ashamed of who you are. As a black man, you don't have to drop the black man just to be an American. You can be both. You can be a prominent black man in America. You can be. This talking point, and I mean, like, I never understood why. I never understood why. Like, why do we have to do this? Because understand this. I dare you to try to go up to the Asians and tell them, guess what? You're not Asian. You're an American. No, they're gonna say, no, I'm Asian. I'm Asian, actually. I'm Asian American. I know what I am. You're not gonna drop my race is gonna come first. My background of where I came from is gonna come first. My survival comes first. Okay. And if you can respect that, then we'll get along just fine. You don't have to rock with me. You just need to understand that's where I'm coming from. You have it where a lot of these political agendas or these talking points are telling you, hey, that what I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with being a black man or black person in America. You can. Why do you need to be ashamed of that? For what reason? If you're our best, you're our best. Understand this: the first thing they're going to see is your race. The first thing they're going to see is your race. Just like when a man sees a woman and starts rating her, first thing they're going to see is your race. I'm sorry, no matter what y'all say, the first thing they're going to see is your race. No matter where you go, before you open your mouth, they're going to see your race. Stop the cap. Anywhere in the world, I'm sorry, I'm way more versed than all y'all on this one. I can pull up the pictures. The first thing they're going to see is your race. And then from there, your aptitude of how you represent your country. Now, what you do from there, that's how they judge you. When I was over there in different countries, the first thing they saw first was, oh, black man. Then them Italians saw black man. That's what they saw. If they see your skin color free zone, that is your race. If they see your skin color, what? Free zone. Your skin tone is your race. That is what they're gonna see. What do y'all can't? That's what I'm saying. Like y'all so badly. What are y'all trying to say? Free zone. The first thing they're gonna see when you go to certain countries is they're going to see your race. They're going to see your continent of who you are. There are some places that they've never seen a black person before. They're curious about Americans because what they hear on TV, on social media. But then when they meet you, it's quite differently. Hang on, let me see if I can pull up some stuff, man. Like I listen. I don't have to guess who I am because I know because this is what I've done. I think one of the things about it is a lot lot of people just want to. A lot of people had a bad experience in their race. Some people, namely black people. I'm gonna say this real quick. This is my, and I'm gonna say this real easy. I'm gonna say this real. See these comics and stuff around me. I remember when I used to go into a comic book shop. It's only full of white boys. There's only white boys in the comic book shop. And I would watch and see how their parents and stuff would go on, come in there and get them stuff and toys and buy them the latest things. And I barely had enough money like that. Right? And I would be like, damn, it must be so nice to be a white boy. And I would think, like, why can't I, as a black man, have that? Why can't I, as a black boy, have that? Part of me did kind of grow a little bit resentful. But it just seemed like it was like, I just felt like a lot of stuff as a black person was just not given to me. So then I started to somewhat resent being black, because I'm like, this is not fair. This is not fair. Why can't I have the comic book shop? And why can't I have the imagery of the superheroes in the games and the movies and the nice suburban family, all that stuff? You know, I used to feel like that. And I get why some of y'all feel the way y'all feel. Because the dystopia, what they put out there or what we see, not very nice. But then after a while, I started rising up the ranks. I started to venture out of my norm. I wanted to see what was on the other side. And as I started making money and I started seeing things from the other perspective, see, I live in these communities. I'm right there. I see in the light outside of YouTube. See, y'all don't know me. I came up. I live out there. Every house out there is 6 figures and up. Everybody out here is a somebody that the U.S. society needs. Ain't nobody here flips no burgers. There's nobody here that does there's nobody here. And I could tell you, because the realtors told me, I talked to them. Nobody here makes less than 50,000. And if you make about 50,000, literally there's somebody on their paperwork that's signing for you. And the thing about it is, as I started to watch the other portions of society, I would see the dystopias of what they wrought. Y'all say black people don't promote family. But if I were to go out there, there's a whole Haitian family out there. The lady has like 6 people staying in their house. What part of dystopia do you hang around? I can pull out different proponents. You have it at Google where literally they made it illegal. Shout out to you, Kevin Kelly. The word family is offensive in Google. Why do y'all got angst against me as a black man banging hard for my right of representation? See, I always wonder that. What is the mindset that people have against me as to want to put black before America? Why do y'all have a problem with me wanting to put black before America? Everybody else gets to do it. Why can't I do it? Why do I have to just say American? If Rogish wants to say Nigerian American, he can say that because he would be a Nigerian American. Why is there a problem with me? I get it. Listen, I'm not trying to leave America. Because my people fought for this. I fought for this. See, here's the thing. What I can say to y'all, I fought for this. The scars on my body that I took for this country, I have the right to say what I want to say about this country. That uniform in my guest room covered in blood, sand, dirt that I have Ziploc bagged away says I have the right to put black before America. Because God damn it was me as a black man out there in the sand. I put in my time. Don't tell me I don't have the right to put what I believe that I was representing first. Because guess what? Any other group that steps towards me, they're going to see, oh, it's a black person. They're not going to say, oh, it's American. They're going to say, that's a black person. We're in America. We already know we're in America. Now they're going to say, that's a black person in America. Just like I say, oh, that's a white guy. There's a white guy over there. Maybe y'all ain't backstage. I raise my children. I protect my family. I've taken more scars and cuts and bruises. I don't bother nobody. I'm a proponent of defending your home. Shut up, woman. Why is that wrong for us as men to want to prop? Like, I respect Kevin Kelly because he is a hardworking black man. I know he's a Jamaican. He has his Jamaican heritage, and that doesn't make him less of a man. And I would never ask him to drop his culture because that's his identity. I respect SKC. SKC, I want you to know I respect you. I hold you in high regard, bro. Because of your representation of who you are, of what you stand for. I respect a lot. I want you black men in the chat to know. I want you black men to know this. IBMT. Let me take a name. IBMT. Respect you. If you don't feel like you get no respect anywhere else, you get respect here. Okay? IBMT respect you. Because I understand your walk is not an easy walk. I understand other people say, well, what about us? Shut the fuck up. No disrespect, but shut the fuck up. But I understand how hard it is as a black man. I understand the trials that y'all will go through. I understand the heartaches of raising your children. I understand the heartaches of dealing with your women and trying to be that of a man in front of your woman and to lead your woman. I understand what it is to punch the clock. I understand that of what it means to go hungry for a day. I understand that what it means to raise your children in this dystopia of a society. I understand that of what it means to have your masculinity to keep it intact while having to sometimes buckle against your morality code. I, as a black man, understand you. I get you. I get you. I get you. This is not on no kind of. This is one man giving honor and reverence to his other men. If you were to come to my house, I have no problem feeding you. I have no problem making sure that you have a place to rest your head until you're ready to get back on your feet. I have no problem saying, hey, bro, let's try to find you a job. Like, I get it, man. I'm not bashing no other cultures or no other creeds, but understand this. Don't tell me as a black man how I'm supposed to react when I hear another black man say, I'm not a black man, I'm an American. Then why the fuck are you talking to me? What the fuck do you mean you need to talk about? Excuse my language. But what do we need to talk about? Go talk with the Americans. Then any of y'all who like, well, I'm not a black man, I'm an American. Then I need you to start banging on every race. Don't just bang on the black males and the black women, and don't bang on the angry black woman and the pookies. Go bang on every creed of American. Run that to them. But you know why you come to the blacks? Because you know we're the only ones that will tolerate your black intolerable ass. Because the other races won't fuck with you and won't listen to your piece of shit ass. So you come back here. And I'm just calling like I see it. I'm just saying what I say. Because see, we already know. A lot of you other blacks that be saying that crazy shit, y'all know damn well them other races ain't gonna let y'all come in their doggone group and talk your shit to them. They'll kick you the fuck out. But you know you can say that with us. Because we like, oh, just another black person talking shit. He going through some kind of problems and stuff. We don't give a fuck about you. Because all you're doing is just talking out the side of your neck. Mama done told us about you. Daddy done told us, ignore that fucking drunk. He a drunk. When he get back on his feet and get his shit together, then we probably might start to give a fuck what he got to say. That's how I be. When y'all start rambling, I be like, okay, let me turn off my brain for a second. Shout out to Stingray. Shout out to my young homie Stingray. This is why a lot of the younger people, they don't want to deal with y'all older people these days. Because y'all don't even like dealing with yourself. Y'all don't even like dealing with your own people. You can't deal with you know what? I gotta pull something from the player handbook. Roger, don't mind me. You can't check your bitch, but you trying to check the world's bitch. Where's that in the game? You still dealing with the hurt of your woman, but yet you want to try to come at other women? No. That's the problem with a lot of y'all. You can't even handle your chick, but yet you're trying to go bag and try to check other chicks. Get your chick, get your chick in line, get your house in line, get your shit together, player. Damn, Rogers must be rubbing off on me. You can't handle dealing, and shout out to Alonzo. You brothers can't handle dealing with your own goddamn inner goddamn problems. And I know y'all can say, well, about the women, listen, you as a man, when you get your shit together, the women will follow you. The women will follow you. I've said it in other grips, and they rock with it because they're American. No, I mean, free zone, it's possible. But I'm just saying, like, when you start free zone, let me say this. Do you think if you would go to another diaspora, let's say the Hispanic diaspora, right? If you were to go to the Hispanic diaspora, right? And there is one. I've been over there. I was talking with a friend over there, real quick. If you were to go over there and try to start telling the Latin community about what they need to do, then you think they're going to sit there and listen to you? Oh, okay, you said groups. I said grips. You think the Latin community is going to allow a black person to tell them about themselves? Not going to happen. They'll kick you out. They wouldn't even give you that much time on their panel. Do you think the Asians or the Samoans would allow you? Or the Indians or the Arabs? Do you think they would allow you to come on their panel? And maybe you might be able to speak in their language. You think they would allow you to come on their panel and tell them how to tell them some shit? David, don't you sit and bang about Black America and Black Twitter? That's you. That's kind of you, Dave. That's you, David. You're a Cynthia G acolyte, David. You all you do is talk about black men. Y'all afraid, you're scared, XYZ. You're actually the acolyte. So you might want to actually take note. Cynthia G will be proud of you. You don't talk about nothing about black men doing own anything of ownership. So get the fuck out of here. You're more so of a Cynthia G acolyte than me. There's a difference between me and you. I talk about power. You can't talk about power. You can't even cam up, David. We're not the same. I talk about black men being able not to be railroaded in the family court. You can't. I got my kids. I never know. I don't know what it's like. Family court, I ain't never had a woman ever threaten to take me to family court. You, on the other hand, have been there. You and Trey are Pookies. Y'all have been dealt with by the judge. Y'all have had the gavel slammed on y'all. You know what I had slammed on me? More money. More money on money on money given to me. Ain't no white man ever told me about what to do with my fucking money. But it amazes me, y'all lick their ass more than anything. We not the same. I don't know what fear that white boy done put in your heart, but he definitely butt broken y'all really good. Y'all just say y'all are afraid. Whatever they did to Trey in prison, or whatever they did to you, they got y'all shook good because y'all followers love it. You'll never hear fear come out of my mouth. You'll never hear me kowtow or shuckle jive for that of the pleasure of another fucking group. I'll never listen. I'm gonna speak for my group before I ever prop up another group. If we're fucked up, we're fucked up. I call it out. But I'm never gonna say, "What's going on, DJ Music? Shout out to you, man." I'm never gonna say what other groups just want to hear. I call out fuckery in my group, but I also call out the fuckery in American society. And if you got a problem with me doing that, then you're part of the problem. No, because their culture is better off. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. No, because their culture is better off. Black culture is at the bottom of the bottom. But if I would ask, then I would respond in kind. Okay, kind. Um, I never understood why people keep saying black culture is at the bottom. You do know you are black and you are part of the culture. When you say that, that means you're saying that you're at the bottom. What is your proof? What is y'all proof that black culture is at the bottom? Like when y'all talk about, do y'all talk about the science, the scientists that we have? Do y'all talk about the stuff that we created? Do y'all talk about the people that be breaking and shattering records even to today? Like shout out to Mark Henry. Do y'all talk about the stuff that we like literally are doing in the industries and stuff? Or are y'all only talking about stuff on social media? I just bought me another property and I'm looking at buying me another semi truck. Am I the lowest of black culture? No, they are. They are. The thing about it is they are being played on. They're be playing on all cultures, man. It just amazes me. And I dropped the link. Like y'all can come up and we can have a logical discussion. But the only thing y'all can talk about, I'm like, I would ask the question, why do y'all feel that y'all are at the bottom? Friezo, I don't think you're at the bottom. I agree with Kev. Kev said, I'm not at the bottom. DJ Music. No, that's a brother who served in the service. There's a lot of the men in the chat. They're not at the bottom. Here's a brother I have nothing but admirable respect for. This is one brother I know he ain't at the bottom. This man right here, y'all need to know how to get y'all finances in line, get y'all credit, get y'all stuff in check. Alonzo Hall. Shout out to Alonzo Hall.
BMT, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Doing well. I'm gonna be short, and I wasn't even really expecting to cam up, except you was like telling folks that you cam up. I'm sitting here chilling with my tattoos and stuff out, no shirt on. But you know what? These are spaces. This is regular life, right? Some of the things you spoke on in terms of, for lack of a better term, um, with a lot of my views and pro blackness, would be considered a black supremacist, because I don't believe in that thing that we have called white supremacy, that a lot of people kowtow to. And my reason why is because if you look at these, the systemic racism and oppression that's been created by that system, it's not supremacy. A true supremacist wants his opponents at their apex best and or with an advantage over him. So when he dominates, he can truly show his superiority, which is something that black men tend to do. Look at Tiger Woods in golf. Look at just about every black man in sports. Look at just about every black man in every business endeavor when we go into it with a disadvantage of the others that have that advantage against us.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Go ahead.
no, Alonzo, because I've heard you speak. I was very, and I want you to understand, I have nothing but the utmost respect for this man. When he
Well,
breaks
thank you.
down, when he breaks down numbers, when he breaks down information, he's very precise. He's very accurate. Okay, and when I was sitting there talking with him, this is not no brother. Listen, this man don't be doing no pookie or no kind of stuff. This man literally has a family. This man is running his own life. This man makes his numbers and his money. Why don't y'all ever count this as the culture? It's like I don't know why. Like they will take your experience out of the American black culture and say, well, that you're at the bottom. But hold up, bro. You in your own home. You taking care of you paying your bills. You handling you are financially literate. Hell, you educate people how to be financially literate.
Mhm.
Why do they always try to separate men like you from what the culture? Mind you, there's a lot of brothers. Hell, that's a majority of a lot of men talk about is getting your money right. Get your
Right.
pay.
Well, um, there's a multitude of reasons for that. Bear with me. I'm actually going to go do something, which is put on a swag shirt, because our community, the black community, actually does get reached out to. And this is, as you can see, this is a State Farm shirt. I don't work for State Farm, but as a financial professional, all these companies tend to send us stuff so that we sell you, the consumer, their product. So today I'm going to be a State Farm guy.
Okay.
You call me Drake from State Farm, but no. I think one of the reasons that a person such as myself doesn't get included into our culture, it's really a small margin, and what it is the majority, right? So 51% or more becomes the majority. So what it is that the majority of the attention is on that Pookie or Ray Ray, if you will. Now, like you said, those other brothers technically are Pookie and Ray Ray. Y'all had the gavel slammed on y'all and had to go to court. That's what we talk about when we talk about Pookie and Ray Ray, is going to court, et cetera, et cetera. The other factor to that is, and I actually, some of it is intentionally perpetuated against us. One of those main things, for example, is we look at things like welfare or government subsidies, and we look at the commercials that portray the Keisha with 5 baby daddies on welfare, when the reality is, if you look at the statistics, there are 42 million Americans who identify as white who are on public assistance. There are 42 million Americans who identify as black in the country. So exactly how many of us exist in total there are on welfare as white people? But there's this thing, I don't know what states everybody is in. I used to live in Georgia in a town called Douglasville, small town, a small suburban town kind of outside of Atlanta, maybe 30 minutes off I-20. Mm-hmm. Now, there were two sides to Douglasville. There was one side that I lived on, which was close to, it was upper class or a high middle class, and middle class to upper class. And then you have what they called across the tracks. Across the tracks was where you seen everybody with their grills talking to the stereotypical stuff that you see. Now, the problem is we also took the neighbor out of the hood, because in the hood, there are more people who are not Pookies and Ray Rays, who do not want to sell drugs, who do not want to bust guns for no reason and not know how to. I like busting guns, but I know what I'm doing with them. Like I got NRA certified and stuff, and learned how to shoot, and went and got my concealed carry permit. I need to go get my rifle and shotgun permit too. But so, don't take busting guns as the wrong way, because I love busting guns. But, inaccurately, just wantonly, with no direction, with not even knowing how to disassemble a gun or clean a gun. So you're running around with a dirty gun, and then you wonder why when you shoot somebody it backfires, or you shot the wrong person because you got all the particulate, you never clean the barrel, stuff like that. But those are all factors that seep into the psyche of people. There are many people in America who have not encountered a black person outside of what they see on TV. Prime example, living in Georgia and across the tracks. Where I lived, the white people were stunned that I was there. They thought I was the help. They were like, "What are you doing in our neighborhood?" Like, Your people don't. What like y'all are across the tracks. Why are you here? You can work at the Walmart. You can work at the Waffle House, but you don't live over here in these nice apartments. So that actually puts into the psyche of ourselves. And if we can just make that shift for the loudest 2 or 3%, instead of them being the Pookies and Ray Rays, if we can take that shift of that 2 or 3% and shift them over to people like us and being more vocal, you'll see a whole change. It doesn't need 100% of us. We just need the majority.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, thank you for that. And I agree, and I hear what you're saying. SKC welfare recipients by race: whites 38%, blacks 39.8%, Hispanics 15%, Asians 2.4%, and
So SKC, that data is skewed because it is percentage by race, but that's percentage of the race. So like it shows that black people are more on welfare, but that's 39% of black people in America. Now 38% of white people in America. Naturally, when you have 200 million Americans that are white, that 38% number is much larger than the 39.8% of black people. But statistics like that, unfortunately, are skewed toward those types of things. What's up, Shonda?
And okay, so we're joined here by, like I said, and it is an open panel. It is an open dialogue talk. Like y'all, this is not this is something where we can have discussion. Y'all know me, BMT. I'm very for the course on this conversation. Like I said, Alonzo, I'm very like if I'm here around Alonzo, I'm here just to have the conversation. What's going on, brother? Speak. I know you're up here. What's up, man? I know you was here for the last conversation before last. Like I said, I'm doing this one on. I'm not a black man. I'm an American. So I'm trying to figure out the context. I'm trying to figure out the context of when black men say this. What's their contention behind that? Especially when they come around certain spaces or have certain dialogue, but they predominantly have it with black people or black men. So if you're not a black man, then why are you still hanging around the black men? Why not go be with other men? There must be something going on. So what are y'all doing here? Y'all, you didn't want the protection. I get y'all. I don't want protection, which I believe black men deserve laws for protection to slander us, for getting certain advocacies of. I don't know no group that will turn down laws to benefit their group. I don't know no race that would ever turn down. And Alonzo was in finances. If the Arabs got a law that could pass for them to get money or tax breaks, them motherfuckers are going to take that. Whether y'all look at it as handouts or not, ain't no group going to turn that shit down. Y'all out of your damn mind. They will tell the other group, shut up. Y'all don't speak for us. We're taking that check. We're taking those breaks. Like y'all lost y'all damn mind. Nobody's not doing it. All right, go ahead, brother. Speak.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To piggyback on Alonzo, what he was saying earlier, I think the majority of us black folks want to believe so bad that we don't want to be part of the negatives, because that is pushed so heavily out there. And we don't want to be associated with it because, other groups are going to look at us funny. We kind of feel ashamed of it. And because we don't control our image like we should, it's our negatives is pushed on the forefront while everybody else negatives is they hide theirs, or if they do have some negatives, they're able to explain away. We don't have that ability. And because we don't have that ability and we don't want to be, considered those people, we run away from it. I'm not black, I'm OJ kind of thing. and it's like you can't really run. Yeah, and I've tried to do that. I'm not gonna lie, but as I realized, I'm like, at the end of the day, everybody's gonna look at you as black, no matter what you're trying to do, no matter how hard you're trying to run from that. You're gonna be considered black. That's just it's just the way it is. Now, me, I don't emphasize it, but I don't run from it either. I mean, it's just like it's two ways it goes. We try to run from it to the point of it's like silly, or we try to emphasize it so much to the point where it's like, dude, okay, calm down. It's yeah, I'm black. I I get that. I can't run from it. I was born black. I mean, that's the way it is. So I think there's that going on. And again, we want to believe the negative. We're fans of the negative and low key, because I've been on panels where I say, okay, I get it. We have your Pookies, your Ray Rays, your thugs. They doing all this stuff to people, women, children, men. They doing all this crazy stuff. Okay, and nothing wrong with calling that stuff out. There's nothing wrong with that. But on the flip side, why don't you focus on the people like Alonzo, people like Kev, people like BMT, who are doing good. They're building their community. You have black men who are fathers. You have black men who protect their neighborhoods. You have black men who are doing all these things that you say that you want to emphasize. Why don't you go do that? And you know what I get told? Well, there's not enough of them. Well, there's not where do we find them? Where are these so-called good men, good women at? And where it shows me that you really don't want to look for it. You don't want to promote it. I know some black men that will say, I don't want the recognition. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to be praised for just the little things. But I'm like, other races of people do that to their men. They have TV shows where white men are doing just the basic stuff that we've been doing forever. But they have TV shows, multiple TV shows on that. Meanwhile, we may get one here and there. So it's like we don't want to promote the best of us. We don't want to take the time to even look for the best of us. All we want to do is just focus on the negative, and that's it. Because we hate the negatives, but we also are a fan of the negatives as well. And we don't really. I think it is some self-hate with that, but then it's just also laziness as well, because we just don't want to take the time to do it. We don't want to. It's easier to focus on the negatives because we want to raise this panic and awareness or whatever, and it fits our agendas for hating black men or hating black women, and all it really is doing is that showing you that you really don't want to change it. You just really don't want to fix the problems of the community. You just want to showcase it and just complain on it. That's pretty much it.
I agree with you, Bro Speaks. Real quick, in terms of searching out for the best and brightest, I think sometimes we fail to realize, and we also over scrutinize ourselves. And I'll give you a few examples. Again, most of the stuff I speak I'm going to speak from a financial component because, that's kind of my thing. Or I should say an economic component, kind of like Dr. Claude Anderson. His thing was with Powernomics, we got to get our economics straight so we can purchase government. That's why they have PACs, political action committees. Those are the people who have their hands in the pockets of the politicians, right? But some of those things we can look for are things like a lot of people called like the Jay Morrison Tulsa Real Estate Fund a scam. Yet the exact same thing is with a company called Fundrise, and is the exact same premise. The only major difference is it wasn't from a blackety black standpoint, from someone who's trying to be basically another Marcus Garvey who had a checkered past. Yeah, he sold cocaine, but then he went into real estate at Sotheby's International. You can't get into Sotheby's unless you got some skills. He, now I didn't actually invest, but I also didn't invest in Fundrise. But being a financial person who, unlike Dr. Boyce Watkins, can tell you the theory of it, I can tell you the actual practical application. And yes, he does have a doctorate's degree in finance, but that's nothing. And I know a bunch of people with degrees in economics. However, what I have is the actual licensure, which allows me to actually practice and do this stuff every day. Right. So there's little things like that. We look at the Tulsa Real Estate Fund and we're like, oh, it's a scam. Let's go into Fundrise, which has the exact same business model. The only difference was people looked at it wrong because he's black. They went and snitched onto the FBI and got upset because he bought the property in Atlanta that he calls the Black House, which is a multi-unit commercial property. So that 8% that you're guaranteed is likely going to happen if you put in more than $500. Just happens to be that the pandemic happened and he couldn't set up 30-year triple net commercial leases, which most people don't even know what a triple net commercial lease is. People don't understand commercial real estate versus regular real estate, and they don't even understand real estate itself. I'm the type of person who I ain't working for no, excuse my term, cracker ever again. So I do self-employment. I have my real estate license, my insurance license, both life, health, accidental, and property and casualty. I have my PTIN, which is my prepares tax identification number. So I'm licensed to prepare taxes in all 50 states. I also can do credit repair. I do business to business cash advances and factoring. Anything that I can do, I work for myself. That's something that as black men we have to get into, but we got to realize we can't be trying to be El Chapo selling quote unquote drugs. And in speaking to that, everyone can go to Google and put in the word Colombian cocaine cartel life insurance. So the next black man that you see that calls himself El Chapo, stab him in the neck because he ain't got life insurance. There's a December 10th, 2002 article from the New York Times that says new hiding place for drug profits, life insurance policies, where 5 members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the Colombian cocaine cartel hid $80 million of Colombian cocaine money in life insurance policies. Yet when I go to the hood, after being shot 5 times in front of my mother in 2008 in the Trefo, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, have difficulty getting black men to spend $100 a month on a life insurance policy. I got a homeboy who has 2 daughters who he spent $50 a month on each one of their policies. Still hasn't paid for those policies, but is running around talking about Bezos coin or bitches ain't shit coin, but wants to tell me, yo, I'm sorry, I got to get with you. Don't apologize to us. Apologize to you and your family for not setting up that financial legacy you say you want for your family. Another thing, a lot of black men in this space have been crying about Charles Schwab giving $10 billion to black women. Number one, that wasn't Charles Schwab. Okay, Charles Schwab is partnered with a black-owned money management firm that's 37 years old by the name of Ariel Investments, ARIEL. It's the only black money management firm on the planet. Okay, but then we have people talking about trust funds and this, that, and the third, and I'm going to go with Fidelity. Well, why don't we go with fucking Ariel Investments and make that black-owned firm grow? Because they forced Charles Schwab every year over the past 20 years to actually donate to black communities. Recently, Charles Schwab said, freak it, we're going to go. Oh, shit, I got to get going. I have an appointment soon. They were like, freak it, we're going to give this 10 billion, but we don't even know to not scrutinize our own stuff. So I'll give you guys one more tidbit, and this is for yourselves, right? If you ever go fill out, and most people know the standard to fill out applications in business is blue ink, but there's a reason why. Redlining still happens today in 2021. How? And it's not through gentrification. Gentrification has nothing to do with race, because I like fancy coffee shops too. And when I was living in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy, I didn't want riffraff. I wanted the expensive coffee shops. But redlining still happens. How does it happen? A couple of ways. One is the fact that your appraisal will be less if you have things like, and this is for anybody, but specifically Black, if you have family pictures, but the appraiser will appraise your property for less if you have like family pictures and they're Black people, or if you're a Black person, they're getting their appraisal. Generally, your appraisal will be 30% less. So if your house is 100,000, they'll appraise it at 70,000 because you're Black. Now, they'll also, when you're looking to apply for a mortgage, bring your own pen. Make sure it's blue ink. Why? Well, what happens, and Black realtors and mortgage loan originators do this as well. You're applying for the mortgage. All right, Mr. Johnson, how's it going? Da, 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 da. Well, I'm filling out in black ink to send a signal to the underwriters to scrutinize your application so much more, to look for any reason why we shouldn't give you this money for your house. That's an effect on generational wealth, right? And then I guess I'll drop one last tidbit because, like I have an appointment in like 10 minutes. In terms of one of the things that's really bad, I actually did a video on this. The big reason whites are richer than Blacks, and this is from February 8th, 2017, and it was an article in Bloomberg magazine. And one of the reasons is Black people end up passing down debt as an inheritance, or passing down poverty as an inheritance. Now, there's a Yahoo Finance article from 2020 that speaks a little bit against that. It shows that Black people actually buy more life insurance than white people because we believe in the fact that life insurance actually can help to pass down generational wealth. The major issue is we buy it wrong. Well, what do I mean when I say that? So I'll make it simple. Average annual income is 50K. Kev, we're about to ask a question.
No, go ahead, big brother. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm with you on that.
So let's say the average annual income for the breadwinner, let's say, is 50K, right? That's the number. So Black people will buy between $50,000 and $100,000 worth of life insurance, and that's it. Now, the average funeral costs $21,000, and two things goes away when a person dies: their presence and their income. Now, let's say you're a breadwinner, you're the only one making that 50K. When you die, your 50K is gone, but you left your wife 100K, so that's 2 years of your income. But then you actually left her less than that. You left her 79K because 21,000 went to your funeral. So now let's take a look at the fact that your presence is gone. Well, now your wife got to go to work, so she's got to pay for somebody to do the babysitting, and she's got to pay for somebody to do the cooking and the cleaning, and she's got to buy a car, and now she's got to spend the time. So that $100,000 goes really fast because it's not identifying and protecting your lifestyle. Now let's look at how most people will do. They'll get, a small $100,000 policy or a $50,000 policy because it's cheap and you're buying based on what the cost is, not the features and benefits. Like when you go buy that Benz or that Hellcat, you don't buy the Hellcat based on price. You buy the Hellcat based on how much it goes when you step on that gas, right? Well, that's the same thing with a life insurance policy. All $100,000 face amounts ain't built the same. Some got an extra Hemi in it depending on how it's set up. So let's take that same $50,000 a year. The average person needs to cover 20 years of their expenses. Just like with your health insurance, you keep your kid on your health insurance till the age of 24. So you want to have 20 years of your expenses. This is called identifying and protecting your lifestyle. So the average person who makes $50,000 a year automatically needs $1 million life insurance policy just to leave $50,000 a year for 20 years for your family. Is this starting to make paint a clearer picture for folks?
Numbers don't lie.
Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, because a lot of people like to talk about interest rates and money market accounts and all this other stuff. See, your life insurance agent is just like McDonald's. So McDonald's advertises the Big Mac and fries, but when you go there, they got ice cream and apple pies and salads. So when I say I sell life insurance, that's not the only thing, but that's the foundation. Just like if I were to build you a house, you'd expect me to dig a hole in the ground and pour concrete to build your foundation, not tell you Dogecoin to the moon and start with your fucking roof. You'd fire that architect because you'd be like, dude, what's this roof supposed to sit on? It needs a foundation. Life insurance is that foundation. Otherwise, you ain't got no business investing until you have your foundation, your concrete poured in the ground. Now, let's look further at that concrete. If you guys go to Google right now and Google best high yield interest or high yield savings accounts or money market accounts, you'll find currently the highest yield money market account or high yield savings account is with Marcus Millichap, which is Goldman Sachs. The savings account is at 0.5% APR, annual percentage rate, and the money market account is at 0.51% APR, annual percentage rate. Now, here's why that matters. Again, people would say, well, why I want a money market account so I can get, and generally you need a minimum balance of 25,000 off of those. But let's use small arbitrary numbers. You put $100 into that account today. You have to wait until 1 year from today for that $100 to earn you 50 cents. On the flip side, on just a regular whole life insurance, which Dave Ramsey and Sue Zorman in Prime America teach you that there's terrible. A regular whole life insurance policy grows at a minimum of a 2% monthly compound interest rate. So on top of each other, plus on top of the prior balance, like a credit card every month. So with that same $100, you put $100 in the life insurance policy today, you have to wait 1 month to earn $2. So I ask you all, do you want $2 a month or 50 cents a year? Everybody wants $2 a month. Now, going one step further, because I got 3 minutes for this appointment, but I appreciate y'all for allowing me to hijack, and I just love pouring into people, and listen, you can come hit me up for a consult. If not, go to whoever you trust. But now that you trust them, you have a little bit more armor to actually make an educated decision and not be bullied into taking the drug like doctors do. Just here, take this. Doctors will do that and then not tell you what it's for. Financial professionals will bully you into a policy and not tell you what it's for because we get commission. So the real way to actually protect that $50,000 is to get a $10 million life insurance policy. Now, when you die, your family inherits $10 million. And it ain't time to go ball. It's time to call Alonzo Hall. Now, I put that $10 million in a money market account or a high yield savings account, at which point 0.5% or half of 1% of 10 million happens to be $50,000. So now off of that $10 million life insurance policy, you have your family getting $50,000 a year every year until. So those are some of those concepts. And there's things like this that ain't taught to us, right? If you look at the financial services and real estate world, you'll see it's actually dominated by blacks. There's a bunch of black people who own state farms. I owned an Allstate that failed. There's a bunch of people who own real estate companies. But we don't come back and teach y'all the real stuff. We want to teach y'all what's flossing and popping. Just like buy term, invest the rest is a great concept. But realistically, ask yourself, invest the rest of what? Because if you don't come to me with a budget, then when someone says buy term and invest the rest, the rest of that is invest the rest with me, but invest the rest of what? Because buy term means that you're saving money in a budget. I had a person who came to me, he was in his early 20s, and he said, I want to spend $60 on life insurance. I was like, okay, then you need a term policy because you're not going to get anything with a whole life. I don't want term because term falls apart after a certain number of years and you can't. I want a whole life. You're going to need to spend more than $60. I want you guys to go to Google and Google something called an MEC, Modified Endowment Contract. That's why Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes. With that being said, I'm about to be late for my meeting. I'm going to come back and watch from the clouds. Wipe ass work in progress every day and see success. And remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. I'm out.
All right, Alonzo. Like I said, that's my
All right.
brother. That's my brother Alonzo. Very solid man. Understand the stuff that he was giving y'all. Dudes be charging for that. He gave y'all that for free. And again, I was a black man that gave you that information. That's the thing about it I never understood. When we give it for the free, people don't appreciate it. It's only until we start charging that's when there's a problem. Or people have a problem. But I bet you if there's another group or another class of people that literally started doing that, or maybe if Alonzo was iced out and had bling and all kind of stuff on, or y'all people would have probably took him more serious. But because he was earnestly saying, "Hey, like, hey, I'm just chilling and I'm gonna go to work and literally I'm gonna go make me some money." Mind you, this man knows the numbers. This man does numbers. That's why I fucks with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I run my shit. Y'all hardly ever see me in a suit. I don't like that. Like I said, I could tell y'all, I could show y'all some wealthy people. You would think they were bums. They walk around in sandals and flip flops and some Dickies or some jeans and shopping right there at Walmart, eating hot dogs and pot pies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, y'all, listen, man, the black man experience is a very unique one. I guess y'all like to say, what is unique about the black man experience? Well, I look at Brother Kev. He's a very successful man. You know what I'm saying? I know I went over time. Kev, do you have my email? Do you have my email?
I'm not sure, man. I got to check on it. I'm kind of new to just figuring some of this stuff out. But I'm gonna get put my email back out there to you, man, and go on there and check it out. Yeah, we need to exchange email addresses.
Yes, like I said.
But I like Lonzo, man. I'm glad. I wish I found his channel, and I only heard his voice when I was on my phone a couple of times. But he never dropped his channel. But I got it now. That dude always.
Y'all watch. I can try to go. But Alonzo, he comes by frequently now, and if y'all want, I can try to set it up. That's the thing about it. Like, a lot of the people on my team are professionals in the craft. Charity is in Louisiana, and she understands Louisiana and Mississippi very well. Like, she runs the real estate broker.
Right. Now, chiming in on what you were saying earlier about black men, BMT.
Go ahead.
I always took pride in being a black man. It was a big thing when I was coming up, when I carried that pride with me. I didn't appreciate the fact that they tried to change it from Afro-American and all that. And then you got to watch out for this society at all times. We get black leaders appointed to us who we have, who we are nothing alike, and stuff like that. We don't have much in common, with a lot of wealthy people. But on a day-to-day basis, man, I see a lot of brothers. I know people like to go through statistics and all that kind of shit on YouTube, but they got a lot of black men that still live in their homes with their children and other children that don't show up in those damn stats, because they're not married. But that man is in the home, right? It might be for religious reasons, or sometimes people just like, man, we've been together 8 years. It don't make no sense. You also got common law marriage that probably don't get documented either. You go to Texas, you live with a woman for a year, same address, legally you're married. So you got those kind of things, but we gonna get that bad rap, period. As you were saying early on the show, I think about 50 to 60% of white America never even met a black person or had a conversation or sit down with them in their life. They get their vision of us from television, but we should be used to that. All right, because they're gonna always see us, and they can see us how they want, but we know our own strength. The only thing we needed to do to close this gap, and which they were saying, tossing around on YouTube, if we only 10,000 behind, and you motherfuckers had a 600-year start. We catching up. Like the brother was just now saying, now we just got to get our finances in order and understand the game that they've been playing on us for a long time. You know, he was talking about insurance. And then I hear some of these black men hate groups talking about it as a collective, but they refuse to acknowledge the shit that kept us back all these years. For example, with the insurance. Yeah, it was always good. My mom, my grandmother, all of them believing in getting insurance policies and things of that sort. But we had like USB insurance. Don't quote me on those. But it was the guy that used to come to the black neighborhood with the briefcase and all. He was charging people like my mom $30-$40 a month for a damn $10,000 policy, which should have been covering $50,000 to $100,000 a month when they were younger. But they gave those discounts to white people. We paid more. Same thing with farming and everything else. Everybody like to jump over that, but now we caught on to the game. So I think that I always think the glass is half full. You know, as long as we can start connecting and start passing these ideas around, we're going to be good. There's value in this space for people other than banging on the other gender. You know, I can give you a prime example. You know, as far as me as a stock guy and the brother that just left, Trinity Time Travel is in Egypt. You know what our value is to me? And I still got to ask her, what telecommunication company is running that is the top dog in Egypt? And who's doing it across Europe? Because she's right there. That's a value. Her knowledge of that kind of shit and telling us how things go in other places is a value. But I tend to ignore those damn divestors and stuff like that. If you don't like black men, just don't fuck with them. Right. Just leave them alone. We good. We gonna be fine. You know, that's good. And then we also have some of these people in this space that ain't even black. And dogging out black men, I find that utterly amazing. You know, so they can say what they want. I understand that a lot of people trying to run into the algorithms, you know, and keep up that beef between male and female. Well, you doing more harm than white folks doing. You doing the job for them. It's the same shit. So we get a negative light on TV. We got a negative light in general because of Pookie and Ray Ray, whoever that is, which ain't nothing but maybe 1 or 2% of black folks, and you know, black men in general. But they get highlighted. Prime example is when you look at Chicago. That's only 2 or 3 neighborhoods in big ass Chicago, but every black person in Chicago get that stigma. But they will bypass, you know, the stigma of, you know, like you got white men. Hell, I mean, they get the same shit too. You don't want to be a white guy, and you got all these damn shootings in elementary schools. That's the most heinous crime you can even think of. At least the dudes on the street got personal beef or trying to hustle. These motherfuckers just killing kids. So we ain't there with that shit. You know, we got our isolated incident. We got a lot of mental health issues, but we ain't there with that. White people don't have shit on us. They're not they damn sure not smarter than us, and we should realize that now. They need us to generate income. They always have. And once we start opening our own, if you take a corner store, we open a corner store, the Asian guy is out of business immediately, because they have to eat off of us. So we just got to keep on pumping, man, and getting some of these LLCs and going directly straight to business. We can't really worry about, you know, what people, you know, caring about what people think is a damn luxury that, you know, we can't afford that right now. You know, it doesn't matter. They already think the worst of us, and it ain't gonna change. But they understand the difference, and you know, especially white men, they understand, you know, that is a big threat. And we also got to watch out for a lot of people jumping on this black bandwagon with diversity and minorities and things like that, because we sharing some of our benefits with them. I heard the brother say one of the banks was giving some of the women, of course, they're going to give black women, but that's going to be split with a whole lot of different ethnic groups of blacks or whatever they want to call it and stuff like that. And I always tell black women, y'all got to get y'all own shit. We cannot be tied in with Hispanics and you know, Latinos and some of these people that aren't black Americans. That's what I am. I'm a black man first. I happen to live in America, you know, and I got to take it from here.
Right.
So,
I
you
don't
know,
think
so
there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, Kev. I appreciate that. I always hear you always you never had to drop your black to just be an American. You always talk about your black experience as an American. And I respect that because
which is
that's
far different than anyone else's experience.
right. So and like I said, like and the thing about it is I don't want to have to drop mine. You know, I don't want to have to drop mine.
Nope. I still check all black on all applications and stuff like that. I'm a
No.
black man.
Like I
It's a
said,
pride.
I gotta do like I said, and y'all, if y'all want to, I could pull Alonzo for the conversation. To listen, man, ain't no group of men if they got the protection card or laws passed to protect their group of men would ever pass it up.
Mhm.
No group of men would pass up that. No group will pass up that immunity card. No group can. Y'all, the Hispanics won't pass it up. The Arabs won't pass it up. The goddamn Indians won't pass it up. The Afghan men won't pass it up. Hell, the
Mm-mm.
white men definitely ain't gonna. If they get that card back, oh, they gonna run with that motherfucker for a while. Yeah, so, I'm just trying to let y'all know,
We running like Carl Lewis with it.
but y'all black men saying, why do y'all need protection? I'm like, dude, that's madness. Rich men get the protection card when they know
Right.
that they can get away with shit. Certain groups or classes of people use protection cards.
Yeah,
Like
there's an elite class.
there's an elite class, man. Y'all now understand. Like, maybe that's a far talking point past y'all vitriol of mindset. But when y'all say that y'all don't agree, well, I'm an American. Guess what? I can promise you. Even you using your American citizenship, you use that sometimes to protect you from a lot of bullshit. Well, he's an American, so he don't know better. So,
But you know what, BMT? Let them think you're dumb. That let them think you don't know or ignorant or whatever it is. Let them think you inferior to them. That just give us the advantage because they won't see us coming. See, let them keep thinking that while we tying up, like my brother said, I'm a Boyce Watkins, Susie Orman fan too, Robert Kiyosaki, because once the internet hit, now I can get that knowledge to teach myself. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to money, we do numbers. If the sister's getting an education and we doing numbers and leading, then now we got a nice little combo going. So, finances is a real important thing. And look, BMT, they had here's one thing I wanted to say too. You got to watch them because you got companies. Don't forget, I think it was 2013, 2012. Obama had the top 5 banks in the country: J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, and some of these other ones who want to be favored with black folks now. But these were the same fucking banks that were charging black folks more interest rate with the same credit score as high credit score with white folks, more interest rate on home loans, student loans, and business loans. That's how they made their paper, and that's how they became so rich. And then so don't be fooled when they throw a couple of trinkets back out there and acting like they support black folks. There's a group on the Nasdaq now that's catered to like minorities. I mean, they're using the minority and the black status, but it's ran by a Jewish guy, and so they'll use that shit. Ran by another ethnic group, and they'll use that shit just to try to gain steam off our suffering, and we've seen that a lot from politics on down. But Pookie and Ray Ray is not stopping our advancement. I can go through Louisiana and the South and show you a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of white folks and stuff still living in squalor, especially in Kentucky. So don't be fooled by that. I heard a brother arguing with Gunner, right, on RB channel, and Gunner was against food stamps, raising food stamps and welfare. The dude really started arguing and said, "Why you won't do that to black people? Like, dude, why do we equivalate handouts strictly with black folks when white folks get most of them from corporate level all the way down to just being a poor black white person who had all the advantages in this country they needed to survive, to make it. And I'm like, stop doing that, man. Y'all, food stamp. Look, I live in Louisiana. See, when they had the hurricane came, white folks was lined up for miles trying to get a $200 food stamp card. Those same ones, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. That's full of shit. They all run to that, right? Even though it's in a benefit that we provide for Americans, I don't have no problem with that. But the thing is, we shouldn't tie that in just with us. And you see, America tie that in. It's like we're poor and we need handouts when corporate America getting the most.
You gotta just, like I said, man. Just all I can say is be about your purpose. Um, like I said, they when you do something good, they count you as American. When you fuck up, then you're black. I always find that was very interesting. I'll see you guys later. I'm BMT. I have to go. I gotta go do American stuff and go to the bank. Do American stuff, go to the bank. If you know, black people don't have bank accounts. Well,
Right.
Yeah, we hide it under the mattress or
we
something.
hide it under the mattress. We can't go do that. What's going on, Mama Rain? But black men are the ones crying about black women getting welfare in Section 8. Yep. But so
That's those very few black dudes on the YouTube space. You can count them dudes on your hand. And if you listen to those silly grown men, ain't listen to them silly dudes with that bullshit. To the degree we got other things we need to get accomplished, and we got other things on our mind. So
And here's the thing: most everybody focus on the same group of guys that demonize black men. But when I say, hey, why don't you focus a little bit more on the black man who's not doing that, who's not blaming black women for everything? They're trying to uplift black women, black people in general. They like, well, where they at? Where they at on social media? I say you have the power of the search engine to go look for them, but people don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. They just want to focus on them because everybody seems to have this agenda against black men. The black man is the biggest problem of the black community, when really it's a small number of us who's doing all this stuff. But
a very small number.
we focus on them, and not only that, not only do we focus on, we complain about them, but we're the same ones that we go to their channels, we go hee and ha ha with them, we'll cash app them and all that. But when they say something we don't like, now they're the enemy. I'm like, which one do you want? That's all I be saying. Which one do you want? Because if that's all you want to do is complain, hey, I'm fine with you. But then, hey, don't complain when they do something you don't like. Don't complain when they're doing what you know they're gonna be. Just don't complain about it. And don't come to other brothers who are not doing that and say, why don't y'all do something about it? Well, first thing you need to do is stop going over there. That's the main thing. But if you don't want to do that, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
So other than that, you guys, I love y'all very much. Y'all, like I said, much love to all of y'all. I'll see y'all guys later. Y'all take care. Much love. See you guys.